Well, I can't think of a positive spin to put on this, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it's been kind of a shitty year for me. So, about this time last year, I ended up mangling my foot pretty bad, which ended up requiring multiple surgeries, potentially to save my life, and which rendered me basically immobile for quite some time because they wouldn't let me walk on it for some reason. And then once they would let me get up and whatnot, my other leg had atrophied just enough that I couldn't walk around on a walker without using my bad foot. So it took me a while. By the way, the surgical team that dealt with me seemed pretty competent, but the physical therapists were pretty useless because basically what they kept saying was, well, you should be able to get up on just one leg. You should be able to walk around on just one leg. And I was always like, okay, I should be, but I can't. So what's the next step? And there really was none while I was in the hospital. I did physical therapy outside of the hospital later, and they actually had helpful ideas, which helped me out because they were helpful and stuff. But for the interim, I had to deal with further inactivity leading to further weakness, which probably led to my current condition, but I'll get to that in a second. Because as a result of all this, I've spent in the last year more than a full month in the hospital, and not one of those fake months like February, but like an actual 31-day month in the hospital recovering from something or other, mostly from the same injury multiple times. But I digress. I did a video a while back talking about what is commonly called white coat syndrome, the tendency for things like your blood pressure to spike when you're dealing with medical professionals. And I only really deal with it when I'm in the hospital. Occasionally somebody will freak me out to the point that my blood pressure goes to the roof or whatever, but it's usually just like the hospital. My blood pressure will be like 64,000 over 289 or something like that. But the other side effect of this kind of stress, the repeated stress that I was dealing with, is that I start throwing up a lot. And that's why I ended up fucking up my voice. Most recently, in terms of my health, I managed to trip and fall, ironically, in a hospital. The floor was warped. I caught my foot, my weak, bad foot, on the floor, bounced off the wall, and landed in a way that cracked my fibula. And fortunately, you can walk on that, but it took them a while to decide that I could walk on it, which included another stay in the hospital for me and three ER trips, one of which because the splint was actually causing physical damage to my body. Oh, this is fucking great. It keeps coming. So I'm back home now and have been for a couple of days, and I'm recovering, and once again my nausea is subsiding, and I'm assuming that my blood pressure has gone back to a normal level for a human being rather than for an elephant on meth. And yeah, things should get better, but I'm still in the situation where it's uncomfortable for me to sort of get in and out of my computer chair. When you're as tall as I am, the spaces under computer desks are not necessarily designed for somebody with legs your length. And if I bump anything that's even remotely connected to my fibula, it reminds me that it still hurts. So I'm going to try and get back into doing videos. To be honest, I like doing videos on YouTube. I really do, despite the fact that it itself can be sometimes stressful. But I do have to worry about fitting into small spaces without banging my leg. I mean, I could do like camera phone videos or whatever, but I don't like appearing on camera. Plus I like the ability to edit as I'm going. Ironically, I'm doing this so far in a total of 2 takes, but I have a tendency to lose my train of thought, for example, and then stammer for 8 or 9 hours. But there is one other thing that I kind of want to bring up, because it's, in my opinion, really kind of worse than a lot of the medical news I have. Of course, if I had actually died, that would probably be bigger on my scale. But Yeah, if I shift from talking about my partner to my ex, it's because for the first time in almost 20 years, I have been single for more than a month. I've been single for about 6 months now because about 10 months ago, my ex discovered religion, which was fine, and about 7 or 6 months ago, somewhere in that ballpark, my ex then discovered religious intolerance, which was not. They suddenly decided that homophobia and transphobia and slavery and racism and sexism were okay as long as their own religion did it, and I can't abide by that. Several of those because it impacts me personally. Yeah, it's really fun when your partner finds religion and suddenly decides that things about you are subhuman and it's okay to ridicule, demean, and or outright hate them. And I just got tired of the abuse. So there is that. And I'm probably not going to make videos specifically about that because I want to get past it, but it still does burn me up. And that's kind of the reason that I put it higher than the injuries, because my foot is healed. My fibula, will eventually heal. It'll hurt for a while, and then I'll go back. But this is going to be with me for a while, and it really sucks. It was somebody that I thought I could trust, somebody that I honestly still love, but somebody who decided to be hurtful and hateful and just plain bigoted in the name of supporting their newfound religion. And I can't abide by that. I can't live with somebody who acts like that. So that was the most depressing part of my year, but it's been pretty eventful, as you can tell. So anyway, that's all the major bad news that's been going on in my life, and to be honest, it doesn't really sound like a lot until you realize the blocks of time it's taken out of my life, because the month of hospital stays has chipped into things, as does the home recovery time, the physical therapy, the time spent dealing with my ex and that bullshit, and so on and so on. It really adds up. And on the plus side, I've basically watched every TV show I had in my Netflix queue, and I think I'm caught up on all the currents as well. Yay. I mean, my partner of nearly 7 years turned out to be a complete bigoted asshole who doesn't care about other people, and I could have died, and I had major reconstructive surgery on my foot, and I broke a limb, but at least I got to watch a lot of TV, so yay. I mean, that's the positive spin I'm going to put on it for now. Thanks for listening. Amaranth out.